Brothers and sisters, misses and misters, bookwormers and girl germers, this is the Dented Cast. My name is Dobie Maxwell. This is Max Baumgartner, dressed in his blaze orange. Today, we are at the Silver Spring School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I went to kindergarten through 5th grade.
Nice. It still looks like a pretty nice area, man.
It's a pretty nice area. It still is. And the reason I wanted to come here is I think grade school is the first time in life when a dented can realizes he or she is a weirdo. You get that, you come and your own family, you think, well, maybe that's kind of like it's supposed to be. Then you compare with other kids. I don't know how early it starts. Maybe 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. I don't know what it is. But you realize, well, my life is not necessarily like everybody else's. Did you have that revelation in your world?
Sure, absolutely. You can start seeing probably, 3rd grade's actually a really good time frame to start realizing that I'm different than other people.
You start talking to kids, you make friends, maybe you go over to their house and you don't necessarily see the same vibe. You don't feel it.
Right.
You don't feel the fear, you don't feel the tension. Maybe you go over there for lunch and you don't want them to come to your house. Have you got that feeling?
Right. Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah. And I don't think we're alone. Obviously, the people watch it have that same feeling, too.
That's why I wanted to do that from here. I think there are grade school memories that we all have. Now, here, I had one. We had the worst school lunch program in America right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, Milwaukee, Wisconsin also was voted as having the most overweight people per capita in America.
And that was last week.
That was last week. Gravy is a beverage in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They open a Hooters here. They should have called it Udders. That's how big the people are here. Ha, ha, ha. Joke, joke, joke. And it's funny, you'd think that a town that likes food that much would have a good school lunch program. I don't know what happened, but it was absolutely brutal. Now, we went to your home. You said you liked your school lunch.
Yeah, I was grateful, though. So I was grateful to have it.
Okay. We had a thing called mock chicken legs.
Okay.
I've been around the country on stage as a comedian, and I ask people, have you ever had mock chicken legs? Because we all know how rare and expensive those real chicken legs are. They're only about 14 cents a metric ton. Let's get some animal that wanders into the cafeteria with no unknown origin and beat it to death with a mop handle and take the feathers or fur off and make it into mock chicken legs so the kids in Milwaukee will eat it. And we did. And we had a dessert, and this has a point I'm getting to. We had a dessert. It was called spring plums. And we got to see the menu of this. They put it out like a month in advance, and you see what you're having. Oh, we're having Salisbury steak. And you're thinking, walt steak. And a little French waiter's going to come over. Oui, monsieur. Would you like to see the milk list? Yes, I would, Jean-Claude. Please bring me the... And Salisbury steak, if you've ever had it in school lunch, it's a Gainsburger for dogs. It's horrible with gravy that's made out of paste, and it's brutal. And we had a thing, spring plums, what could that possibly be? Turns out they were prunes is what they were.
Sure.
Okay. And they were shriveled and purple, and they came in a little styrofoam dish with purple gooey syrup on it. And for whatever reason, we got them, and we're thinking, spring plums, spring of what year? 1776? We're not going to eat them, so everybody obviously threw them out. Nobody in this school ever ate a spring plum, but they got a nickname because about a month later, we got them again. And then as spring came in the school year, we started getting them twice a week, 3 times, 4 times a week. They must have had a surplus of them. So the name that they were known as became Dead Man's Balls. I don't know how they got that name. They were dead man's. Nobody ate any dead man's balls, but they had a purpose. What we would do, I was the best baseball pitcher in our 3rd grade class. We take the dead man's balls out of the styrofoam dish that it came in, wrap them in a napkin, smuggle them in a pocket right here into this playground, into our lunch period or our recess before afternoon classes after lunch. So on this very playground, now there is a T intersection which comes here. If you're from Milwaukee, even if you're not, you know what a T intersection is. This is Green Bay Avenue going north and south. Villard Avenue goes east and west and comes to an end right here. We'd smuggle our dead man's balls into our pocket, and I, since I was the best pitcher, would pick the car coming south on Green Bay Avenue that when it would turn right on Villard Avenue, right on this playground, we would throw our dead man's balls and it would splatter against the car. Now, when you throw a snowball at a car, which anybody that grew up in the North did, it doesn't splatter. It's still kind of fun and the guy gets mad and yells at you. But a dead man's ball, it's like popping a zit on an elephant's butt. It just, it was wonderful. And especially when 375 of your best friends all throw theirs, nobody can get blamed for it. Well, we all did it. So that's our big deal, is take our dead man's balls and hit a car. So one day in beautiful weather, almost at the end of the school year, there was a car coming south, and it was a white Cadillac. If you ever watched the show Dukes of Hazzard, it's like Boss Hogg's white, beautiful Cadillac. And it was coming south on Green Bay Avenue. And I saw a signal it was going to turn right onto Villard Avenue, which is a street that's right off here. And I saw the car, and I said, that is the car that we are going to hit right there. And I remember my best friend, Michael Stella, who was standing right next to me, said, no, that's a Cadillac. We're going to get in trouble. I said, I'm running this show. That's the car we're going to hit. And I had about 2 seconds to choose. So we all took our dead man's balls and threw it. And, of course, I didn't see that the window in the Cadillac was down, the driver's window. Yeah. And I hit the driver right in the side of the head.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
There, at
nice
one
job.
time, not anymore, was a hair salon about 6 blocks up at a place called Crestwood, and they had a hair salon. Turns out, it wasn't just any woman. It was the principal's wife, Mrs. Bachman. Mr. Anton Bachman was our principal
here at this school.
Here at this school, right here.
All right.
And it was the principal. And it was Mrs. Bachman, who's just coming getting a Chia Pet bouffant 1970s hairstyle, which now had half a dead man's ball splattered against her head. And, of course, I was the first one to throw it in my left hand, and how I got it in across 2 lanes of traffic on an angle inside that moving Cadillac going 35 miles an hour. And, of course, my best friends did not throw their dead man's ball when they saw it hit. She slammed on the brakes and got out. Who threw it? And 375 fingers pointed at me, and this is now August of 2021 as we are recording this, and I still have 4 weekends of detention that I have not served from 3rd grade when I did that. Now, that's a really funny story now. Hopefully it's a little funny.
Yeah.
But back then, you talk about fear.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to lose my life, get kicked out of school. And not only that was it bad to get in trouble here, to have them call home, and my grandmother and grandpa heard about it. Oh, my God. My grandma beat me into a pulp.
You'd have been better off eating the dead man's balls.
All the dead man's balls, putting my head underneath the front wheel of the Cadillac and let her ride over it like a watermelon, and my entrails would be all over Villard Avenue.
Yeah.
But those kind of stories happen to you, and they're so much bigger when you're a kid than they are now. Now, one more quick one, and we'll let you stop. Now, there's a game here, I don't know if you played it, called Pom Pom. Do you know what Pom Pom is? At this very playground, we played a game called Pom Pom, and it's so funny to me how small it looks. But when you're back in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, what happens is everybody puts their feet in, okay, and then you do the rhymes, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, blah, 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 blah. So then there's 1 or 2 kids left, and all the kids that want to play Pom Pom in school line up on that side of the playground. And the ones that are many times it was me, is in the middle of the playground, and you run from one side of the playground over to another. And to get tagged, Pom Pom. It has to be 2 hands, tag on any part of the person, and then Max is it. Yeah. So
that's called 2-hand tag, by the way.
Well, it's Pom Pom here in Milwaukee. Don't ask me why they call it that, but they do. So so when Pom Pom it starts out when there's the one it and everybody is not it, and then it reverses where everybody's it and the fastest kid has to try to dodge, and it really was a lot of fun. So Pom Pom became Tackle Pom Pom in the snow. And it was pretty brutal for kids in that. I mean, so you have to not pom pom, you have to tackle them so they couldn't get across. Yeah. And I had a way. I love playing pom pom more than life itself. And I would end up ripping my pants. I ripped up 5 pairs of pants, put holes in the knees. And my grandmother told me, "You rip one more pair of pants, I'm going to put lace patches on your knees." And I ripped one more pair of pants.
There's the Pom Pom champion.
And the Pom Pom champion with lace patches on his knees had to wear it to school. The traumatic experience still runs. I had lace patches, girls' lace.
Love it.
And Grandma thought that was really funny.
I do too.
Okay, well, she did it.
One for Grandma.
Run for Grandma. So it happened right here on this playground, along with the dead man's ball story at the Silver Spring School.
Let me ask you a couple of questions.
Please do.
Because this is about you here in Milwaukee.
No, it's about us. It's about Dented Cans, man.
No, it's about you in Milwaukee.
Okay, Milwaukee's me.
Okay, so do you have happy memories here at this school?
Boy, that's a really tough question. It was a very painful time. Life was painful as it is. Yeah, I suppose I did.
Was there a teacher or a friend or some kindness that you were shown?
There was a male teacher named Mr. Meyer. And he was a young guy at the time, probably about 35, maybe he was 30. I have no idea. But
Right.
he was almost like a father figure. And he told me a few years later, he said, I could tell you were a troubled kid. I just want to spend a couple extra little time with you.
Yeah.
So he had maybe his personal assistant. It was his 5th grade here. And I was only here. This went through 6th grade, but I went to another school. So 5th grade was the last year I was here. And he liked sports, and he kind of spent some time with me. And he said, I just thought you needed it. And all these years later, I think that was such a kind act of him. He's probably dead now. And I appreciated it then. I appreciate it now. And those acts of kindness for a dented can are so valued because we don't get them that often. It made me want to do kindness for others. So Mr. Meyer here fueled me to do other good things. So, yeah, that's a positive memory.
That's all I'm looking for, man. That's
Yeah,
good. That's
it.
good.
But
Positive
the food
memories.
sucked. It was horrible. No more mock chicken legs.
And for a recipe of Dead Man's Balls.
Dead Man's Balls.
Please
Send
look in the
25
notes.
cents to, yes. Hit the like button if you like what we're doing. Hit the subscribe button. If you have memories of your own school, good or bad, please share them with us. I think the whole idea is to try to laugh it off if you can. I think those stories, the Dead Man's Ball story is hilarious now. It will be a funny scene in a movie. Again, the chances of getting that little tiny in the car to this day, I should have bought a lottery ticket that day because it was a billion zillion to 1.